What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Corey Porter podcast. I'm here with my brothers, like I'm here all the time. Shout out to Caesar and Terrance. What's good, y'all?
What's good? What's
Good.
good?
Now, listen. I happen to be scrolling online. You know what I'm saying, like I normally do, looking for different videos for our upcoming shows, especially our lives on Tuesdays. And I ran into a clip on comedian DL Hughley's page. And before I play the clip, I'm gonna show the text of what the guy said in the video. Then we're gonna watch the video and go off of there. So Charlie Kirk says, "I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified." Now, that whole statement sounds crazy, but I'm gonna show the video of him actually saying it, and then we're gonna discuss it after that.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
You want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
Okay, fellas. You know what I'm saying? Before I say anything, I'm gonna give y'all the floor, and y'all let me know how y'all feel about them comments that he made. That he feels that. Let me put this up real quick. I'm sorry if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Go ahead, Caesar. How you feel about that?
Honestly, man, it's wild, right? But I also don't think homeboy even thought about what he said, honestly, because even at the end he said this is not who he is and this is not what he believes. But he just said that if he saw a black person, he would hope he's qualified, as if they don't vet all pilots, and all pilots have to go through an extensive type of training, whether black, white, Asian, it don't matter. So the fact that he just let that fly out of his mouth, I don't even think he thought about what he said. I think he just got caught up in the moment, just flew off the handle and said whatever was the first thing that just flew out his mouth. Because they're not gonna let someone unqualified get in a commercial flight airplane. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that the ignorance behind that, as if like any airline is going to say, yo, anyone could just be a pilot, go fly. You know what I'm saying? Or to say like there hasn't been instances of white pilots who've been caught under the influence while flying, right? Like you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know.
But he didn't even really mention influence though. What did you think the source of? It was racist. It was a racist comment.
It was 100% racist. But like, it was that ignorant racist, because it's, and all racist ignorant. But I guess it's just like there was nothing backing what he was saying. It's basically because if he saw a black pilot solely because he was black, he wants to say, "Oh boy, I hope he's qualified." Just it don't make sense, like at all. You know what I mean? Because there's anyone who's a pilot, you walking in that cockpit, you went through the training, obviously you qualified. Like, why would you assume just because he's black, I hope he's qualified? Like, I don't know.
Terrance, what you think, Terrance?
So I struggle with this, man. This is the type of what's the white people say, malarkey. You know what I'm saying? This is type of malarkey I'm talking about, man. Like, I don't understand his thought process. Like, you're on a platform where a lot of people come in and they're listening to what you're saying, right? And you're given this stigma that you believe that a black person is less qualified of a pilot than somebody else. If something is to happen, if you get a little turbulence or something like that, you feel more comfortable having a Caucasian individual up there flying you than an African American, or whatever you said, black American. It makes no sense. Like, I'm just trying to figure, is this something that's engraved in their DNA, Like, do they really just believe that we're less than them just off of that? Because he's like, as Caesar said, he said, this isn't what I think. Like, this isn't who I am. This isn't my thought process, but it obviously is, because it's the thing that flew out of your mouth. I believe out of the abundance of your heart, your tongue speak. Like, that's a biblical thing. So you said it for a reason. So I think it's completely ignorant. And regardless, that's like saying, yo, I'm not racist. My cousin's boyfriend's black. Like,
Yeah.
It was a very racist statement, and he got some real digging down in his soul and thinking about what he said to do, because that was kind of crazy, man. That was real crazy.
Yeah. But I'd at least rather him like honestly own his racism. You know what I'm saying? I think the last part is the part that really, the whole thing trips me up, but the last part really just confuses me and takes me for a loop, because you can't say this is not who I am, I don't think this way, but you literally just said, if I see a black person walk into the cockpit, immediately I go, oh boy, I hope he's qualified. Like I feel like the racism just wiped out all common sense in this man's mind, as if like they're not gonna let some random dude just walk to the cockpit. Obviously he's qualified. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't, it don't make sense. Like, when someone says something so silly that you can't even get upset that he said it, like, the dude is just like out there kind of.
But I don't think that what he thought, like, you got to think about what the person was saying before him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was saying
the square jaw thing.
The square jaw thing. Like, this was a bunch of white men coming out here and they felt comfortable enough to say, yo, I feel more comfortable with this.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I want. This is what it should be like. Like, it's I want to curse so bad on this. I'm trying to keep this PG, bro. But it's crazy, bro. It's just one of those things. Like, it makes my skin boil, bro, to think that. Like, and I don't think of a white person that way. I don't think of a Chinese person that way. Obviously we got our stereotypes, you know what I'm saying? But to think that somebody is less intelligent or less capable just because of the color of skin, this is completely against what Dr. King, God bless the dead. This is completely against what his dream was, man. Like, really?
But listen, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate though. Because I think yes, what he said was crazy racist. And what I paid attention to the most was the fact that, like you said, Terrance, the people he was saying in front of him, nobody even gave no pushback. It was like they was all comfortable with what he said, but I'm not mad at what he said though. I think this is why I feel Trump's presidency was necessary, because I believe these kind of people with these thoughts been around us our whole entire life. And I think Trump made it comfortable to speak like this. So now people is just out there just, being racist out in the open, kind of where you want it to be, because these people that have these thoughts, these is our doctors, these is our lawyers, these is our teachers, our school teachers. These are just not no people with KKK, hoods on. These is regular people that's amongst us all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not upset about it. I kind of like the fact that we know where certain people stand. The fact that people is just openly, what I don't like is the fact that we're fair game when it comes to saying stuff like this. Because if he said that about a Jewish person, his whole platform would have got shut down. But we're fair game for some reason. You can say anything you want about black people and nobody's going to say nothing.
We don't have the same power as that.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit though, because he said that on when he sees the black pilot, he hopes he's qualified, right? We all kind of have these thoughts about different races unfortunately we do. Not on that level where he says, but I can show you a level right now where we all probably have that thought, right? Let's say we all at a Thanksgiving dinner table, right? And you find out somebody, your next door neighbor, some white lady made the macaroni and cheese. In your mind, you probably think like, hold up, like, did she cook it like mom make it? Is she qualified to make this macaroni and cheese? You know what I'm saying? In your mind, you might think that.
Yeah, but I think that's a little different, right? Because once again, you're right in the sense of like for that scenario, because there's no qualification standard, right? There's no program that someone has to go through. So of course you're like, I don't know if you had the same experience as my mom does with mac and cheese or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're talking someone who has to go through a systematic program.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To get qualified. So you shouldn't even think that way. Unless you're saying I have no faith in American Airlines, Delta, whatever airline you was on, that they're just gonna let some random person come and fly this plane. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the only difference, right?
I will see who's gonna give me that kind of pushback, because I knew that's what it really was anyway. But I know deep inside, y'all don't want no macaroni and cheese, man.
Nah, yeah, of course.
But
y'all don't want no Karen macaroni and cheese.
But that's perfect.
I know.
That's perfect.
I know some good cooks.
Now I take some Italian if they make
some
some mac and cheese.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I personally know white people that can actually cook very, very well.
Right.
But listen, let's not get off the topic, because this guy says something about black people flying planes, right? So on our platform, we got to present some facts, because he says something ignorant and we're going to hit him back with the facts. So what we're going to do is we're going to show some people who had some huge contributions to the aviation industry. You know what I'm saying? So let's start with Willa Brown. Was an inspiring African-American aviator and a pioneer for women in the industry. Born in 1906 in Kentucky, she was the first African-American to receive her commercial pilot's license. Willow was also the first African-American to receive commission as a Civil Air Patrol lieutenant. Shout out to Willa. And she kind of looked like
don't she look like
Claire Huxtable? She looked like Claire Huxtable a little bit in the face.
I was gonna say the one from
Dorothy Dandridge.
Nah, dang, I can't remember it now. I'm gonna come back to you.
I don't know, but I know we can tell by this picture that she was bad back then.
Nah, and you look like that in a uniform.
Exactly.
From somebody who's in the uniform every day. If you look like that in uniform, out of uniform, you
now I don't want to sexualize her. Yeah, I don't want us to go there. You know what I'm saying?
A different world.
Black is beautiful, bro.
She's accomplished pilot, but we
she look like Shorty Jasmine Guy from A Different World.
Yeah, okay, she's lieutenant. She's beautiful, but we just want to let her, give her her props.
Brains and beauty, man. Brains and beauty.
Exactly.
Total package.
All right, so Caesar, you could take this one. Go ahead.
All right, this is Bessie Coleman, 1892 to 1926. First African American woman to hold a pilot license. First Native American woman to hold a pilot license. She holding down two categories, and that's a pilot license. And I bet you they wouldn't say, "Oh boy, I hope she's qualified."
You know what I'm saying? She was out there doing her thing in the early 1900s. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bessie Coleman. Go ahead, Terrance.
So we got Cornelius Coffey, 1902 to 1994. He was the first African American to hold a pilot and aircraft mechanics license. And he was the founder of the first African-American owned and certified flight school. So shout out to Cornelius Coffey. That is big business right there, man. First to hold a pilot and aircraft mechanic license. That's dope.
And then he owned something. You know what I'm saying? Right. Founder of the first African-American owned certified flight school. So he was training people how to fly.
So you know is his school still going on? You know that? We know any
that I don't know. That I don't know. This guy, I don't want to butcher that first name because I don't know his first name, but I know his middle name was Guy Bluford, born 1942, which means he's still alive right now. First African American to travel to space.
Shout out to him, astronaut, man.
Shout out to him. And last but not least, the guys, the Tuskegee Airmen. You know what I'm saying? Terrance, I'm gonna need you to take this one because I can't see even with my glasses.
I got you. I got you
real quick.
Somebody
I got you, bro. So this is the Tuskegee Airmen. So with a shortage of trained white male pilots, the U.S. government lifted their ban on black pilots and began training African American men at the Tuskegee Army Airfield in Tuskegee, Alabama. 14,000 black men were trained as pilots, bombardiers, control tower operators, instructors, aircraft mechanics, and support staff. After completing 15,000 individual sorties in Europe and North Africa in World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen's military units were among the most successful in the war, earning 150 distinguished flying crosses and encouraging the integration of the armed forces in the process. Many of the Tuskegee Airmen will go on in careers in aviation and in the military, and what would eventually become the U.S. Air Force. So shout out to the Tuskegee Airmen. And yeah, man, it's dope, man, and their legacy lives on. Like I said, I was deployed, and we was over at the 332nd over in Jordan, and they still letting their legacy live on. You still see the planes and the red tails, and it's a very awe-inspiring thing to see, man. It's dope.
Absolutely.
That's
and
what's up.
shout out to Tuskegee Airmen. And we will end the show just like that. So if anybody have any questions about is a black person qualified to fly airplanes, we just proved to you that they are. Great kids forever. We out.
Great kids.